I'm a big fan of Alex Rubinstein and the Pro Democracy Pod on Rockfin, and his co-host on the show is Mila Ghorayeb, who is also a PhD student, I believe. I think she's
Yeah.
living in the Chicago area, if I remember correctly. But she wrote an article about online school, and I thought everybody, I just wanted to go through it, talking about mental health and literacy. And, but what's really weird is that we're still free to go to the mall, right? And spoke to high school educational aide who works at his school's learning resource center, works with students who mostly have cognitive learning and special needs because he himself has a physical disability that places him in BC's clinically vulnerable category.
Vulnerable category.
Right. We wanted to discuss the balancing of the need for education and mental health with looking out for other clinically vulnerable people during the pandemic. So again, this is you're staring at a screen for 7 to 8 hours, and it's a lot more tiring than people think it is. Totally agree.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. With fully online learning, Micah was on a computer till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and felt tired and worn down. As a teacher, and a lot of people felt the exhaustion of being online. And again, this is the stuff that they're not talking about really when it comes to online school and how it has
That's an
changed the way that
interesting.
teachers and kids are interacting. All
Yeah,
right.
what you highlighted.
When
Like,
they're in person, they seem to be on the same playing field. They have access to the same things, right? Okay.
right.
Some families don't have access to the best internet or computers or space or area for quiet or a clear area. This is all really important stuff, right? Again, so the school had good measures in place. There were separate entrances for with different grades cohorts. Desks were wiped down. I mean, they were doing the best they could given the the resources that they were provided. So Mila also has concerned school about school closures at all levels, including her own. Right. Again, I have kids in public school, so this personally affects me. Okay,
Right.
she's lost people to suicide and drug overdoses during the pandemic in a way that alarmed her. And
Ouch.
yeah, I mean, they're anxious when they keep receiving changing commands and contradictory information and no end in sight. And it's, to people that have mental health issues, this is,
Well, and yeah, I mean, I had, for me, with ADHD, I actually wanted this for a long time, right? Where it was easier for me to do stuff at home, to have, because you need less motivation to do that, right? Like, and they always made it difficult. Like, it's never an easy process to do it, right? Which is part of the problem, you
yeah.
know. It's everything's extra convoluted for no reason. Yeah, I mean, so
Right. Supposedly, the vaccines prevent the risk of getting and spreading as well as preventing serious illness. Well, we already know like what's going on with all the different reports, and everybody's still getting sick, even though you got double, triple vaxxed, and now you got quadruple vaxxed, and Omicron's highly contagious, and we are where we are after 2 years of going through this. So,
yep,
we are taking risks by having an indefinite period where we all live online. All right, students pay exorbitantly high tuition while being confined to learning through methods they can use to learn for free on YouTube, which is also
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
I mean, Harvard basically telling its students, "Oh, just you use your best judgment." I mean,
right.
that's it's no guidance as to
Well, and then it's also the average age of teaching. Like, you're talking about people who have no idea how computers work. Like, you know,
preventative
trying to
treatment,
teach people at a level. Yeah,
PPEs. I mean, all the different. Yeah, again, some things to wipe down, but it's Again, I'm worried more for the bus drivers and the
That are in direct
parents
contact with humans
and the
much more
teachers,
frequently
and
than
of course then the grandparents of the living grandparents and family, especially the vulnerable that live with the kids, and they bring it home, and we've just gone through a case in our house and quarantines for the last 6 weeks or so for
yeah.
kids in and out of school, and
Kids.
there's no rhyme or reason really as to exactly, is it 10 days, is it 5 days, how long until you can come back, when
Right,
do you not have it?
it's pretty
Somebody,
much whatever the CDC says for that state that week. Like,
I mean,
you
it's,
know,
I mean, literally, one of my buddies texted me today. He's had it for like a week. He's had no symptoms since Thursday, but a test shows that he still got it. So he doesn't even know what to think. It's like everybody's out of their minds with this stuff. And
each one of those
again,
tests is $60 a pop. Like,
and then everybody's yelling about, of course, the overwhelming of the hospitals. We don't want to talk about the fact that they cut the number of beds, and they cut the number of hospitals, but also that we are woefully inadequate on ICU beds versus standard beds. Even though we've known for years that we were going to need this many more ICU beds because
yeah,
they're not profitable to the hedge funds that own our hospitals these days and our medical companies
yeah,
and to the insurance companies.
yeah. They'll shut off whole wings and stuff because it saves them money, and didn't even want to reopen them. And then they're like, we have a shortage. It's like, well, open another wing up. Like,
Right. This was the hospital, the China hospital that they built out of containers, shipping containers.
right.
Literally, they had, you have the stream, and I don't want to
Yeah, I
get
remember. I
DMCA for
remember when.
that.
Well, no, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Like, they literally built like a hospital, and like I remember the like CNN and stuff at the time where it was like, oh, that has to be fake, can't be real. No, that happened. Like, they just built the hospital. They were like, okay, we're just gonna build some hospitals in if we need some. Like,
Right. So, who
you
does
know,
benefit from online school? Well, not very many people, unfortunately. Low income students are suffering from online learning. All right. It's the wealthiest who are profiting. Why? Because, well, Zoom has been making record profits. So, of course, anyone that can afford, we talked about Zoom stock. Zoom CEO is one of the many billionaires who've reaped the benefits. All right. In
yeah,
addition, all the FANG stocks, or the heavy tech stocks, have been making record profits. Well, we know that, and they all have benefited. Specifically, Google Classroom. I know all my kids are doing Google Classroom, and
yeah.
Chicago had a big thing when it came to Google Classroom, and
Which
Microsoft
is
has
making
Teams.
Google loads. Yep,
You know,
yep.
and of course, all the kids that were using their Kindle devices more during the pandemic. I'm sure because
Right.
parents
Kindles
had to keep them
and
occupied.
Chromebooks. Right. I Chromebooks are one of the biggest educating like
My kids have Chromebooks issued by the school.
right. It's like they're giving out. They're give the right. It's because Google has essentially a grant that you can like sign up for to get like Chromebooks.
Yeah,
You
Apple
know.
used to do that, and now I think
Yeah.
Google basically took it over. Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, greatest upward transfer of wealth in history, and that's those are the words of Dylan Radigan and Jimmy Dore. I keep hearing that over
Yep.
and over again. That's a Newsweek article that it links to. Okay,
Yeah.
talking about the metaverse, and that's
Oh God.
Web 3.0 or
Clearly, the ruling
4.0,
class
whatever. Again,
doesn't
another
really
another
care about dealing with the pandemic. Instead, they're restructuring how they want people to consume. For them, the perfect society is a mass of people glued to screens, ordering takeout, maintaining survival through Amazon deliveries, and building a virtual life in the palms of the ruling class. Yeah, it's like, yep, you know.
talking to a guy who really hasn't
So,
gone out in like about a week. Partly because we had this
yeah,
stuff ripping through our house, and partly because
yeah.
the convenience of life and everything is exactly that. And
And
you
and
know,
in a perfect world, no one would care about this because it wouldn't be an issue, right?
right,
If you could sustain people's lives with this and whatever, no one would care. The
right.
issue
Then
is
you
is
could
that
go out, touch grass, go to the movies, go on vacation, and go
right.
out. You know, if
Like
everybody
get
could
in
live their
VR on
lives,
the metaverse on the weekend and like what like no one would
right? But
actually care. The issue is it's
this
ruining lives because of the blatant capitalism of it.
It's being
You
reset,
know?
again, a
Right.
reset,
Yep.
as we're well aware. So again, subscribe to Mila's blog. This is Ghorayeb.substack.com. There's the link in the chat for everybody.